So the baby Honda 2 horsepower outboard could do with a refresh, or at least a service. So I've already taken out those two 10mm screws. There's one there which also holds this little air intake as well. I need to get this one off. I've taken the one out of the head here. So my plan is to take the carburetor off, basically, give it a good clean out with the ultrasonic cleaner, and change the oil in the gearbox as well. Just generally sort it out. It's interesting, there's a spacer on this side which stops the plastic from being crushed. It fits in there. It looks like the one on this side is missing. I assume there should be one on both sides. Pretty sure there should. In fact, that looks slightly distorted. So someone, could well be me, has lost that spacer. My cute little carburetor with the fuel valve integrated into it. Maybe get a complete refurb kit of gaskets and seals and what have you, and the float chamber bowl. So this is a drain, of course, which evidently works. So the other thing to do is to change the oil in the gearbox here, but also I've never changed the impeller, and I'm thinking it might be a good thing to do. I assume that undoing this bolt and this one here as well, that will release the whole gearbox, in which case that should be relatively easy, and I can obviously drain out the oil and clean it out with it off the main leg, which will be easier. We'll see what happens. Oh, there we go. Well, that was pretty straightforward. The anode looks pretty good. Mind you, it hasn't had much. I don't leave it in the water. There's no reason why it should be bad. And here's the impeller, which looks to be slightly awry. I mean, it's fine, but the wings of the impeller are the wrong way around. Should be rotating that way. So that one is the wrong, flipped around the wrong way, and so is that one. But it will still work. I mean, it still does work. These both have a plastic washer, which is good. Ooh, oh dear, a lot of water, and a bit sludgy. So what does that mean? It means that this seal is probably gone. So I assume this cover will just pull off now. Yes, indeed. A nice bronze bearing in there. And I say this seal on this end, which I will replace. Shaft doesn't look too bad. I think a new seal would fix it. And a nice little bevel gear set. Oop. Cool. So the bevel gear is now loose. There's a thrust washer, I assume. Yes, there is. With two cutouts. So that surprises me. I didn't think you would have to take the gearbox apart just to be able to change the impeller, but evidently you do. So here's the water pump housing. A few bits of crud in there, but not too bad. And then there's the impeller, which is retained or prevented from rotating by this peg. which looks as if, yeah, the peg needs to come out before I can get the impeller off. So again, surprising. I wonder if that just pulls out. Yes, it does. And again, we've got the backward, what do you call those, vanes? Some of them pointing one way, some the other, so that's not right. So I guess that's one reason for replacing it. Anyway, it's obviously taken on a set in the wrong direction. At least some of them have. So yeah, I'll get another one of those. So finally got that seal out. So I ended up having to collapse it in on itself by hammering on the steel outer. There's quite a lot of corrosion, which I think is what was hanging it up. But yeah, at least it's out now. And the bush, it's difficult to tell already. I need to get the shaft in it, but it's only not badly scored. So I'll give that a good clean up, get this gasket material off, clean up the rest as well, and ready for the new parts and assemble it all. The other seal into the gearbox is this one at the top of the gearbox part, and this seal could do with replacing as well, really. The actual lip doesn't look too bad, and the shaft it runs on is okay, but this of course has water on top of it from the water pump, so it's permanently moist. Right, I managed to find a spare seal, which I think is the right one. Does indeed look the same, so that's good. So, trouble is that this has got a very long bronze bush running down the shaft, and it's also pretty much flush with the inside diameter of the seal, so it's going to be difficult to get out. I do have a blind bearing puller though, which hopefully will do the job. I'll see if I can find that and we'll give it a go. Right, I think what I might have to do is to cut out the rubber and see if I can get underneath the outer steel of the seal. This is the one from the prop shaft. So there is this steel cup. If I can get underneath that, it should come out. But to get to it, I probably need to take this. I'll say cut the middle out. And that doesn't quite fit in, but I think it will with a bit of persuasion. If I can just sneak it through, that should be ideal. So a bit of oil or rather grease on this cone as well. This one obviously I've never been used before. Oh, there we go. So yeah, that should swell up nicely under the steel, which I can now see having cut away the rubber. Right, let's give that a go. Might be moving. Finally. So yeah, the extractor definitely hooked underneath the steel, which is perfect. But there's all this corrosion. I think that was what was holding it up. Still, it's out now, so that's good. You can't beat the right tools, as my dad used to say. rather annoyingly. Looking at this new seal, it's double-sided, which I hadn't realised. This is the original, but it has two lips, one on one side and one on the other, and as far as I can tell, they're identical. So I'm going to assume that it doesn't matter which way up this goes. I'm going to put some ordinary grease on it. This is a 15mm socket, which looks to be about the right OD to fit that. Just tap that in. The gap between the bronze bush and the seal is the same as it was when I started with the old one. So yeah, that should be okay. Okay, making progress now. This has just arrived, which should be a new carburetor. Bizarre as it may seem, it seems to be cheaper, or at least not much more, to get a completely new carburetor rather than get a repair kit for the, or a service kit at least, for the old one. So it seems like a bit of a no-brainer in a sense. I'm assuming it's the same. Appeared to be on the listing. It's the wrong way, isn't it? I mean, that looks certainly a replacement. This outlet is slightly different orientation. That might be an issue, I guess. It's got a different arrangement here with an extra drain plug, which this one didn't have. But this all looks the same. The throttle lever looks identical. Looks good. So for the sake of a couple of quid, one can get a complete carburetor rather than just a service kit for one of these. Cool. Right, so reassembly time. These gears look absolutely fine. There's a very slight evidence of rubbing on their wear, but nothing to worry about at all. Same with the bevel gear as well. This bearing and the shaft itself looks pretty good. Again, slight wear marks, but nothing to worry about. And those seal surfaces look pretty good as well. All right. So far, so good. So I'll press the seal back in this. I've got a new gasket as well. So let's fit the seal first. So this will go that way around. I've cleaned that out pretty thoroughly with a bit of wire wool. This should just press in. I might put a bit of grease on it, just seeing as I've got some. And it might stop the aluminium corroding between the bearing and the housing. That should be virtually finger tight, I would have thought. Pretty much. I'll just get a socket to push the rest of the way. Right, so yeah, that's on, so with a bit of thread locker, just to seal the threads and hopefully stop it corroding. Not really to keep the screws in, it's just to keep the salt water out. Right, I'm going to leave the propeller off for now. That way I can potentially run the engine in a bucket of water and not have it go everywhere, but still give me a chance to test the engine and that it's pumping water properly. It takes 50 cc of gear oil, and GL5 is I think the correct spec. It's GL4 or GL5. EP90 it's supposed to be, but this is multi-grade, but that'll be fine. So bottom end all back in. Bit of a fiddle to get the water pipe in and the splines into the crankshaft, but yeah, not too bad. So next thing is to get the new carburetor on, which should be straightforward, apart from this fuel tube perhaps, but we'll see. This is the sort of heat shield that fits on here, and general gasket. I've used a bit of silicone in the past, just a smear, so I'll clean that off and use some more and get the carburetor back on. Okay, now the trouble with this carburetor and that fuel pipe, inlet pipe coming out at a different angle, this is way too high. So I think I'm going to have to cut this slot down to the base of this plastic part so this fuel line can come in and up. Okay, so I've cut this piece out and they've lengthened that slot, so I think the fuel pipe will fit in now and come up onto the inlet to the carb. But interestingly, cutting this out with a Dremel, it's got a lot of glass fibre in it. So this whole moulding is heavily loaded with glass fibre for strength. And I mean, it is a nice part, but yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that much glass in a plastic. It's quite long fibres as well. Must be quite a difficult thing to mould. Okay, that fits perfectly now. Bit of a jiggle to get it in, but yeah, that's fine. I assume this must be off the 2.3 later engines, so maybe I'm sure they have a different moulding. They must have a different outlet for or an inlet for the fuel. Anyway, that seems okay. But the only thing is this long fuel valve is a bit of a pain. It's actually catching on this part just under here, and it's also very long, but it sticks out here a long way. So I think I might shorten it to the same length as the original, but also I need to just relieve the plastic under here slightly so it will go back fully off. So that's pretty important. There we go. It does actually go, but it's so it's catching the plastic. Okay, time for a quick test. The other thing I've realised is that this fuel valve is reversed. So these labels are now wrong. So what's off is on and vice versa. There's fuel in it now and there's oil. So it should be alright. That seems to work. A bit smoky, but then it's been lying on its side for a while, so it's probably crept up past the piston rings. The oil, that is, of course. Anyway, that seems fine. Sounds quite smooth and sweet. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. The good thing about that being so obviously out is that it's clear when it's on and when it's off. And when it's off, it's tucked away nicely, so it shouldn't catch on too many things. So yeah, maybe I'll leave that as it is. But yeah, seems fine. It's only pumping water. So, and it started easily. Started second pull. So it should be fine. Thanks for watching.